Hello, I'll be testing the APIs with the server running for this video. So here we have the will run. The server should start, and yeah, okay. So we're gonna test out some tests here. Another terminal, if it works, should work. Okay, so we have our tests here, and what we're gonna do is a basic run through it. So first we're gonna check the health. So copy, paste. Right, so status okay, 200 okay, successful means it's healthy. So the endpoint confirms that the API server is running. So now we can do another one that could get all the students here. Copy, paste. All right. So the endpoint returns a list of students stored in the demo data. Now we can also get a specific student with an ID here. We could do a normal one for copy, paste. See, returned Raj Palacio, computer science. Now we could do ABC. Could So what this means, right? If the ID doesn't exist, the response would be an error, right? The requested resource could not be found because it's not a student, not the ID of a student. Now, what we can also do, so wait, these would be errors since there's only a couple students and these wouldn't be IDs because the IDs go from 1 to 4 and that would be all the students. So now 99, ABC 0 and -1 would return an error. So now to create a student here, I think we got all. Yeah, okay. Copy, paste. Okay. So this shows that the API, successfully created a new student. The enterprise ID5 information systems. So all of these would be valid. It would be valid. We could try another one here. Copy, paste. Yeah, all of these are valid. So now these are the failures, right? Validation failure. This basically demonstrates that the validator catches an invalid input. Here we could go try this one. Copy, paste, go. So name must be provided since there is no name. And in this one we did provide a name. So now we could do this one, which is missing a program. And then this one would be missing uh, this one would be missing a year, I believe. And yeah, I think so. Let me try this one. Copy, paste. Yeah, years must be between 1 and 4. So same thing goes for the other ones. Um, this doesn't have a name or a program, but it should return the same error, 422, which means, catching invalid input. So next we have more errors here. Read JSON failures. Right? Body must not be empty. Now, try this one. Body contains badly formatted JSONs because of the squiggly lines. These right there. So that's mostly it for the JSON. So we could actually put a valid stuff here. Copy, paste. Student created, 200, okay. Now we can do validation of failures. Copy, paste. Name must be provided. Should be fairly the same thing. This doesn't have a name or a program. And I believe this has a year. Wrong year. So now we have a 402 request here. The requested resource could not be found. Yeah. So now we could actually get courses as well. Could try it right here. You get all the courses here. Mm, That's, that's it. Yeah. Then you can get the headers as well. Right here. Right. Two headers. Yeah. So next we go into the main file here and we're looking for the read JSON function. So the API uses two different validation stages when processing a request. One, read JSON, right? The structural validation. The read JSON function, it reads the JSON body from the request and then converts it into a Go struct. And it checks for problems such as empty request bodies, invalid JSON syntax, wrong data types, unknown fields, JSON that is too large, or multiple JSONs in one object request. Now, for example, the body must not be empty. The body contains value formatted JSON. The test we did, right? If any of these occur, the API returns a bad request of 400. This means the request format itself is wrong. So the validator, it's after the JSON is successfully decoded, the validator checks whether the data follows the application's rules. The the validator stores errors in a map. As you can see, badly formatted JSON, badly formatted JSON. Yeah. Yeah. So the reason we need both of these is both serve different purposes. So the read JSON, it checks for JSON structure, and the validator, it checks for business rules. Um, for example, the read JSON checks for invalid JSON, and then the validator, it checks for the year that is out of range. And then the status code for read JSON would be 400, and the validator would be for 422. So if there's a test, right, with name John and year two, as in the actual word two, the read JSON fails because two is not an integer, it's a word. And then, well, another case, I guess, if there's a name, a program, and a year, which would be 9, read JSON succeeds, but the validator fails because the years must be between 1 and 4. 9 would result in an error. So, in simple terms, read JSON is the request formatted correctly, and then the validation is like for the data logically correct. So, using both of these APIs, it makes the everything secure, predictable, and user friendly. So now for an API I would like to build for my final project is a um, food food review API. So basically for my project, the purpose of this API would be to allow users to review restaurants and food items. They would store ratings and view feedback from other users. This type of system is similar to like Yelp or Google reviews, where people can share their dining experiences, and then it would help others decide where to eat. So some functionality to this API, it would allow users to perform several operations like um, add and view restaurants. This means, the system would include endpoints such as get restaurants to view all restaurants and post restaurants to add to the system. And then users will be able to like create food reviews. This could be done using an endpoint such as like post/reviews. The review would include fields like restaurant ID, rating from 1 to 5, and a short comment. But Um, overall, this food review would, demonstrate key concepts of, backend development, such as RESTful routing, JSON requests, and response handling. Also, input validation. Yeah, it would simulate a real-world application where users can like interact and share information. And yeah, this is my video for systems programming. Thank you.